Today we're making 3D paper ornaments. I'll show you how. You'll start with a paper like this, and you'll need to color it and decorate it. For the purposes of this video, I won't be coloring and decorating this one. So after you're done coloring it and decorating it, you have to score these curved lines. And for that, I'm using a push pin. Scoring basically means scratching the surface. So you're just scratching right along this line. You're just scratching the surface. You're not trying to cut it. You're not trying to poke a hole through it. You're just trying to make a scratch. The reason for this scratch is so that your paper will fold along the curve later. It's really difficult to fold your paper in a curved line. So if your paper is scored, it's a lot easier to fold it. The other way that you can score your curved lines is by using a mechanical pencil that has a metal tip. Now there's another kind that has a plastic tip, and that kind won't work. It has to have a metal tip, and then you push the lead all the way in, and then you can score your paper with that. It's just scratching the paper along the curved line. It goes a little bit faster if you have this kind of a mechanical pencil, just because it's easier to hold on to. Now this is all printed out on cardstock, which is a heavy-duty paper. So scoring it and using a lot of pressure isn't going to tear your paper. If you were using a more delicate regular printer paper, you might use lighter pressure for your scoring. But you're basically trying to scratch the surface and just kind of tear the surface of the line with your sharp instrument. Okay, next, after you've scored the whole thing, decorated it and scored it, we'll start cutting it out. And on this one, it's a little bit hard to tell, but there's a line that goes right down here, right through to here, and a line that goes right down here, right through to here. And we're going to be cutting those lines and cutting the whole thing apart. So we'll start like this, and we'll cut right down this line. You'll cut this into 3 strips. And then you can cut the edges off. Keep that little tab on that says glue right there. It's also important when you're cutting this to make your cuts really smooth and not jagged. Sometimes when we cut things, we get these little jagged kind of edges. And if you have any jagged or rough edges, it's going to be a lot harder for you to make your ornament. So try to do all your cutting really smoothly. And trim off all the edges. And then we'll put this whole thing together. Okay, next, the glue stick. Right down here at the bottom of the tab, you'll see it says glue. So you put a little glue stick on there, and then we'll loop this around, and you can see that dotted line. Line this up with the dotted line, just like that. If you make it smaller than that, it won't work so well. So it has to be lined up with that dotted line. And hold it tight so that it really gets stuck take your time and let this dry a little bit so that it's really stuck together. When you're ready, move on to the next one. Also glue this one with plenty of glue. Loop this around and line it up with the dotted line. Hold it and make sure that it's stuck securely. Now we're going to put this one inside of this one like this. And we want to make these little semicircles visible here and here. And finally, we'll use this piece. And it's easiest if you look at it from this way and see these two little windows on the side. We're going to put one end of this piece through the windows all the way through to that side. And we're going to curve this around and put this end through the windows all the way through to this side. And then we'll add our glue. Now this one you really have to hold for a while to make sure it gets stuck. And while you're holding that one, you can rotate these around to make sure that that semicircle is on the outside edge. So let's see, that semicircle's on the outside edge here. The semicircle's on the outside edge here. But on this side, the semicircle is not on the outside edge. So you'll need to rotate this one around so the semicircle is on the outside edge. Okay, so your semicircles are on the outside edge on all of those spots. And next we will just punch a hole on one side, here and here, just on one of these links on one side. And then we'll start folding these in. So you just push on that and kind of pinch those together and turn it and pinch them together on all the sides. Oops. Whew. And that's it. Next, all you need to do is put your string through that hole that you punched on the one side. And loop it around and put the ends through the loop. And you are done.